ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
In a stunning turnaround, Cal OSHA passed new mask-wearing rules in the workplace after originally rejecting them. Employees can now take off their masks if everyone in the room is fully vaccinated. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on this busy Thursday night. I'm Kimberly Hunt. As ABC 10 News reporter Anthony Pura shows us, the new guidelines came only after regulators went back in and took a second vote.
Changes are in store for California employees. The Cal OSHA board Thursday passed new mask-wearing rules for workers, allowing vaccinated employees to take off their masks outside, but inside they can only take them off when they're in a room entirely of vaccinated people. During hours of public comment, some argued the mask rules are out of touch with CDC guidance and didn't go far enough to loosen restrictions as California approached a full reopening on June 15th. However, some board members felt the changes at least loosened the rules currently in place, which would have forced everyone to continue wearing masks at the workplace.
I think this is the next logical step in that direction, is to loosen it up to the point where we have a little more freedom, but we still realize that, people have to go to work, they have to make a living, and they should be protected while they're at work.
The new rules also requires employers to provide N95 masks to employees, though it would be voluntary for employees to wear them. The board initially rejected the proposal, but minutes later reconsidered and passed the revised regulations. They also created a 3-member subcommittee to consider more changes. Todd Walters is president of United Food and Commercial Workers Local 135, which represents more than 13,000 grocery store workers in San Diego and Imperial counties. Walters says he's glad there is a subcommittee formed to research future changes.
Whatever Cal OSHA does, remember this only affects the employees and work sites. It doesn't really have precedence over customers or patrons of a business.
The new rules say businesses would need documentation proving everyone's vaccine status, so employees who deal with the public, like grocery store workers, would have to stay masked.
I wanted to make sure it's fair and even across the board. We have members in our different work sites that want to wear masks, that depend on wearing masks for their own safety. And we have members in some of our work sites that don't want to wear the mask and are fully vaccinated. And I hate to see them forced to wear a mask if they've been vaccinated.
Anthony Pura, ABC 10 News.
One person is dead after a fiery crash along the 8 in Alpine. Sky 10 was over the scene this evening. CHP says 2 cars slammed into each other, causing them to lose control. The GMC Sierra truck that you see there rolled down the embankment, sparking a small brush fire. CHP tells us one of the women in that truck was not wearing a seatbelt, was ejected and killed. 3 other people involved in the crash were also taken to the hospital with major injuries.
And it's a really exciting time. I'm happy that the state did the right thing.
Cocktails to go are here to stay for now. Governor Gavin Newsom announced today restaurants will be allowed to sell alcoholic drinks to go past the state's June 15th reopening day. Our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo shows us how it will work.
Ordering a cocktail before the pandemic was illegal, but that ban was relaxed in March of 2020 when restaurants were shutting down. When you go to Cali BBQ, you have options when ordering alcohol. They have their popular Tiger King drink and the Padres-inspired Slam Diego and No-No cocktails.
Really has been a lifeline for restaurants and bars.
Since the start of the pandemic, owner Sean Walchef has been able to sell these drinks to go. It's proved to be successful.
You miss your local bar and you realize not everyone is as good a bartender as your local bartender.
Thursday, Governor Gavin Newsom announced businesses will be allowed to continue selling alcohol to go past June 15th, as long as you order a meal. This does not apply to bars that don't sell food.
Especially for those who still don't feel safe on coming out, you can still take a little Joy of Cafe Sevilla home to go.
Over in the Gaslamp, businesses like Cafe Sevilla also applauding the move. General Manager Mike Parada says the to-go drinks have been a hit with tourists.
Everyone that's there, like, hey, how do I get this to go to my room? I want to, have a little fun while I'm there.
These rules will stay in place until the end of the year, but there are already a number of bills in the state legislature hoping to make it a permanent law.
I think that is one of the most important things, that this can't just be a temporary situation where it just ends at the end of this year.
Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
The county reported 83 new COVID cases today, while our test positivity rate remained below 1%. The local death toll from coronavirus went up by 1. San Diego County's new eviction moratorium went into effect today. Under the order, a tenant can only be evicted if they're considered a health or safety threat to others. It's good news for San Diegans such as Patricia Mendoza, who was saved by the state's eviction ban that expires this month.
I was broken. I did not know where to go. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had lost my job, and I was worried to be evicted.
Landlords oppose the moratorium, arguing they still have to pay mortgages and property taxes. The moratorium will expire 60 days after the state opens up June 15th. Scripps Health patients are trying to sort out what personal information may have been stolen during last month's ransomware attack. An ABC 10 News reporter, Jennifer Kastner, talked to one patient struggling to get answers.
Scripps Health confirmed this afternoon that patients can once again start scheduling appointments online through the patient portal system. Meanwhile, there are still several unanswered questions about the extent of this attack.
It's been 2 days since Scripps Health made the jarring announcement that almost 150,000 patients may have had their personal information compromised in the cyber attack. But there were still very few answers Thursday about how much data was taken.
It's not comfortable.
Patient David Jacobson had been struggling for weeks to access his records following a neck injury. After learning this week's news about the volume of patients affected by the attack, he contacted the dedicated call center Thursday for an update.
Thank you for calling the Scripps Health Incident Response Line.
I gave them a call, wanted to check and see if I was going to get a letter or if, in fact, my Social Security number had been compromised. I was told that it had not been compromised as far as they knew as of yet.
Tuesday, Scripps revealed that an unauthorized person hacked its network and got copies of documents before deploying ransomware, and that health information and personal financial information was acquired. For certain patients, this information includes one or more of their names, addresses, dates of birth, health insurance information, medical record numbers, patient account numbers, and or clinical information, such as physician name, dates of service, and or treatment information. For less than 2.5% of patients, social security numbers and driver's license numbers were also affected. And while Scripps said there's no indication that any data has been used to commit fraud, Jacobson knows he's not yet out of the woods. The hospital network reports that it still doesn't know what's inside some remaining documents that it believes were compromised by hackers, and it will likely take several months to figure that out.
ABC 10 News requested an interview Thursday with a representative of the hospital to discuss the attack. A spokesperson wrote back that they are not yet granting interviews. Reporting from La Jolla, Jennifer Kastner, ABC 10 News.
Local law enforcement now has a new app to help them understand the area's diverse population better. The district attorney's office and its Interfaith Advisory Board developed the Cultural Awareness Project. It's designed to help officers respond respectfully during non-emergency situations.
We can walk in, we can have that conversation, and making certain that we're not offending anybody, making certain that we're doing everything that we can to provide a better service.
The project centers around a newly launched app. So far, it has information on 11 different communities. Categories in each group include traditions and beliefs, greetings, visiting households, and experiences with law enforcement. The Cultural Awareness Project app is free in the App Store. The San Diego Unified School District is reporting that absenteeism was up and grades were down during the pandemic school year. Our partners at KPBS report students of color, English learners, and students with disabilities saw the biggest drop in attendance. The district hopes that this trend will reverse as more students return to campus. It's also saying that it's investing in counseling services to help re-engage students with learning.
Students, first of all, were not feeling engaged in their classes, and then with all the other stress that's going on in students' lives and their families' lives, unfortunately, it's not surprising that we saw a decline in attendance and an increase in chronic absenteeism.
Board President Richard Barrera says he's confident the returning to in-person learning will also bring up grades across all ages. The pandemic numbers continue to show promising signs for the United States. For the first time in 14 months, the U.S. is averaging fewer than 20,000 new cases a day. Hospitalizations and deaths at their lowest points in months. Dr. Fauci says there is a possibility that children younger than 12 could get vaccinated by Thanksgiving.
We hope that as we approach the end of this calendar year, we'll have enough information to vaccinate children of any age. So I'm cautiously optimistic we might be there by the end of the year.
The CDC director also says she believes the guidance for children to wear masks in schools will be lifted before classes resume this fall.